Bitcoin $126,000 in October. $86,000 right now. That's a 30% crash. Benjamin Cowen just warned it could go lower. Coin Bureau's guy is analyzing what went wrong. Altcoin Daily is hosting emergency interviews. Even the moon, who's been permabull since 2017, is suddenly cautious. The crypto YouTube community is in full panic mode. And the worst part? This might just be getting started. Here's everything you need to know. Let me give you the cold, hard numbers. Bitcoin hit an all-time high of $126,000 on October 6, 2025. Peak euphoria. Bitcoin to $200,000 by Christmas videos everywhere. Everyone was a genius. Then reality hit. End of October, down 14%. First cracks appearing. November, another 17% gone. The confidence started cracking. December 31st, today, $86,000. That's a full 30% drop from the top in less than 3 months. But here's what really scared people. On Christmas Eve, there was a flash crash on Binance that showed Bitcoin at $24,000. Screenshots went viral. Twitter exploded. Pure panic. The truth? That was one isolated trading pair with low liquidity during the holiday. It wasn't real, but the fear was real. The 30% crash? That's very real. And crypto YouTubers are scrambling to explain what's happening. Let's start with Benjamin Cowen. If you don't know him, he's the anti-hype crypto analyst. 1.1 million subscribers. No clickbait. No Bitcoin to $1 million next week. Just cold, hard data and cycle analysis. And right now, he's warning his followers that Bitcoin may not have reached the bottom yet. His specific concern? December 10th. The Fed is expected to cut rates while the Bank of Japan raises rates. This could trigger what's called a carry trade unwind. What does that mean? When the Fed cuts rates and Japan raises them, it creates currency market chaos. The yen strengthens against the dollar. Traders who borrowed yen to buy Bitcoin suddenly need to unwind those positions. They sell Bitcoin. Price crashes. This exact scenario happened in July 2024. Bitcoin capitulated hard. But here's the thing. When the carry trade unwound in July, Bitcoin found its low 1 week later and bounced. So Cowen's prediction. We might crash hard in the next few weeks, then find a bottom and recover. But he's also been saying for months that altcoins will likely drop another 30% against Bitcoin. Bitcoin dominance is rising, meaning money is flowing out of altcoins and into Bitcoin. That's a bloodbath for anyone holding Ethereum, Solana, or anything else. Now let's talk about Coin Bureau. Guy has 2.7 million subscribers and is known for deep dive fundamental analysis. His videos are 30 to 40 minutes breaking down projects, regulations, and macro trends. Guy's not panicking, but he's definitely concerned. His recent content has shifted from what to buy to how to protect your portfolio. His main points on the current crash. Point 1. The macro environment has changed. The Fed cutting rates while Japan raises them creates currency market chaos. This affects all risk assets, especially crypto. Point 2. Institutional money isn't saving us this time. While BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF has held up, we're not seeing the massive inflows that drove the rally to $126,000. The smart money is waiting. Point 3. Regulatory uncertainty persists. Despite some positive signals, there's still no clear framework. This keeps institutional money on the sidelines. Guy's messaging to his audience. Don't panic sell, but if you're overexposed, this is your warning. Rebalance before it gets worse. What's interesting about Guy is he bridges traditional finance and crypto. He's not a maximalist. He's pragmatic. And when pragmatic analysts start sounding alarms, you should listen. Altcoin Daily, run by brothers Aaron and Austin Arnold, is different. They're not analysts or traders, they're curators and interviewers. They bring on guests, discuss news, and synthesize community sentiment. And right now, their community is divided. Half are saying buy the dip, half are saying it's going lower. They recently interviewed Benjamin Cowen, and the conversation was fascinating. Cowen discussed how Bitcoin's current trajectory mirrors previous bull market phases, particularly around price consolidation and breakout potential. But here's the tension. Altcoin Daily's brand is built on altcoins. Their audience wants to hear about the next 10x project. But Benjamin Cowen is telling them that altcoin pairs versus Bitcoin are heading to their range lows because US monetary policy will remain restrictive. So Altcoin Daily is in a tough spot. Do they tell their audience what they want to hear, that altcoin season is coming, or what the data says, that altcoins are going to bleed for months? To their credit, they're platforming bearish voices like Cowen. But their comment sections are brutal right now. People down 60% on altcoins demanding to know when the turnaround happens. The answer, according to the data, not yet. Let's rapid fire through the trader YouTubers. Crypto Zombie, daily updates, relatable tone. His message, we've been here before. This is normal Bitcoin volatility. But yes, it sucks. And no, I don't know when it ends. Honest, real. The Moon, Carl, usually the most bullish guy in crypto. High energy, fast talking, Bitcoin to $500,000 type. Even he's cautious right now. When the permabulls slow down, that tells you something. The market is genuinely scared. Elio trades, focuses on new projects, altcoins, gaming crypto. His audience is getting destroyed right now because everything he covers is down 50 to 70%. He's pivoting to how to survive bear markets content because the altcoin euphoria is dead. The common thread among all these traders? They're not calling bottoms anymore. They're risk managing. That's the shift. 6 months ago, every dip was a buying opportunity. Now, everyone's saying wait and see. That change in tone tells you how serious this correction is. Okay, so why is this happening? Let me break down the 5 real factors. Factor 1. Profit-taking by long-term holders. After Bitcoin hit $126,000, whales and early adopters took profits. When you've held since $10,000 or $30,000, selling at $120,000 makes sense. This creates massive selling pressure. Factor 2. Leverage liquidations. The crypto market runs on leverage. People borrow money to buy more Bitcoin. When prices drop, these positions get liquidated automatically, creating cascading sell-offs. Over $2 billion in leveraged long positions were wiped out during this crash. Factor 3. Macroeconomic uncertainty. The Federal Reserve's stance remains uncertain. The carry trade concern is real. Global liquidity is still tight. All of this hurts risk assets like Bitcoin. Factor 4. Lack of new catalysts. Bitcoin's run to $126,000 was driven by ETF approvals, having anticipation and institutional adoption. But now, there are no major new catalysts on the horizon. Without new positive news, markets naturally correct. Factor 5. Technical breakdown. Bitcoin broke below key support at $95,000. This triggered algorithmic selling and stop-loss orders. Once those levels broke, the next support was around $85,000, exactly where we are now. The question traders are asking, will $85,000 hold, or are we going lower? So the million-dollar question, is this the bottom? Let me give you the data, not my opinion. Historical context. Bitcoin has dropped 30% from its record high. Data shows this is actually a regular occurrence in cryptocurrency history. In the 2017 bull market, we saw 5 separate 30% plus corrections. In 2021, 4 major corrections. So this isn't unprecedented. On-chain metrics. Long-term holders are accumulating. Short-term holders are capitulating, selling at a loss. Bitcoin dominance is rising, meaning money is flowing out of altcoins and into Bitcoin. Historically, when short-term holders capitulate while long-term holders accumulate, that's been a signal we're approaching a bottom. The carry trade timeline. If Benjamin Cowen is right, we have a few more weeks of potential downside. The December 10th Fed meeting could trigger the final capitulation. After that, historically, Bitcoin finds a low 1 week later and bounces. Institutional behavior. BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF hasn't seen massive outflows. No panic selling from institutions. They're waiting. That's actually bullish. It means they're not scared, just patient. What does this mean? We're likely in the late stages of this correction. $86,000 might be the bottom. Or we might wick down to $70,000 or even $60,000 in a final flush. The data doesn't tell us the future. It tells us what's likely based on past patterns. But here's what we do know. Every 30% correction in Bitcoin's history has eventually been followed by new all-time highs. The question isn't if it recovers. It's when and from what level. Alright, here's what you need to do right now. No bullet points. Just straight talk. If you're in Bitcoin and you believe in the 5 to 10 year thesis, this is noise. Painful noise, but noise. Benjamin Cowen believes Bitcoin may reach a cycle top later, but the timeline is uncertain after this crash. Hold, don't panic sell. If you're in altcoins, you're in a different situation. Altcoin season may not materialize until later, and we're already in 2025 with no alt season in sight. Many altcoins won't survive this cycle. Ask yourself, what percentage of your portfolio is in crypto? If it's over 20%, you're probably overexposed unless you're very risk tolerant. If it's over 50%, you're gambling, not investing. The crypto YouTubers can't tell you when to buy or sell because they don't know your personal situation. They don't know your risk tolerance, time horizon, or financial obligations. What they can do is provide data, context, and perspective. Use them for that. Don't use them as fortune tellers. Here's my framework. Markets are probabilistic, not deterministic. Bitcoin could bounce tomorrow or crash another. 20%. That's the reality of volatile assets. If you're watching crypto YouTubers who claim they know what happens next, whether bullish or bearish, they're lying or delusional. Benjamin Cowen thinks we have a few more weeks of potential downside, with a possible bottom after a December 10th carry trade event. Coin Bureau's guy is focused on portfolio protection. Altcoin Daily is platforming bearish voices despite their brand. The traders are risk managing instead of predicting. That tells you everything about where we are in this cycle. Uncertainty, caution, fear. Bitcoin crashed 30%. It might crash more, or it might bounce. Nobody knows. Comment below. Are you buying, holding, or selling? No judgment. Just curious where people's heads are at. This is crypto. Volatility is the price of admission. If you can't handle 30% drops, you shouldn't be here. If you can, these crashes are when fortunes are built or lost. Choose wisely.